Welcome to the Get There podcast. This is actually my 9th podcast, and I would say probably some of my favorite guests are with me today. So I have Ricky Ibarra and I have Angelina Prine, but you go by Gina?
Yes, I do.
Only friends call you Gina?
Most people now are calling me Gina, so I go by Gina, yeah.
I love it. I love it. They are actually the creators of Tu Madre's hot sauce. You can find Tu Madre's in pretty much any downtown Ogali restaurant right now. But they are here kind of just to tell their entrepreneurial story from two friends talking about an idea. It started off with salsa, ended up with a hot sauce company, and kind of how they went from inception of the idea to actually full-blown manufacturing. So listen to this podcast. There's some really great information, and really I think the main story is just not being afraid to take chances and
just go for it.
Exactly.
Dive in.
Stay tuned. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to hear all about Tu Madre's hot sauce. Get yourself a bottle. So actually, maybe we should start. Where currently can you find Tu Madre's where you can purchase it?
So we're at 10 different locations in Brevard. So you can find us at Urban Prime. You can find us at Forgotten Block in Cocoa Village. We have a bunch of multiple restaurants we're at. We're at Pineapples downtown in downtown Ogali and FM Pizza. So again, we have a whole list of places that you can find us at, which is on our website.
Oh, right.
To not name off all the.
And I saw you just launched the website, right? So it's
brand new. This past week.
From
this
there
past
too.
Week,
I love it. Congrats
so you can find us at 321tumadres.com.
I love it. It's a beautiful website too.
Yes.
Thank you.
It has good graphics and everything.
Yeah,
it's all her.
Thank
It's
you.
all you.
I
love it. At least he's giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, okay, I want to hear all about, and I guess my number one question, and I didn't want to ask you this ahead of time because I really just want to hear it raw and real from you guys. Why hot sauce? What brought about the birth of Tu Madre's?
So the birth of Tu Madres, do you want to start this off?
Well, we both are Hispanic. I'm Mexican. She's Costa Rican, so it was really
I love that.
Started off from our roots and stuff. Grew up on like hot sauce, and like salsa and stuff. But I work at Intracoastal Brewing Company, so we do like the markets over there. And I remember one time I was talking to one of my coworkers who runs the markets, and I was like, "Hey, like, can I sell salsa here sometime?" And she was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I was like, "All right, cool." So originally it was a side hustle, and at the time Gina was working at FM Pizza. And so I know that she was going into the culinary world and stuff. And so I was like, "Hey, can you help me out with the recipe for my salsa and stuff?" And so she's like, "Yeah." And then we kind of quickly found out that tomatoes are very expensive. So she's like, maybe we should shift over to hot sauce. And then she had a recipe. Yeah.
So when he hit me up last January when we were talking about timeline, he was like, I want to make this salsa, and again, I'm an inspiring chef, so it's like he was like, you have like the culinary aspect that can help, and I want to do this. I was like, cool. And then I had this idea for the carrot habanero that I wanted to incorporate into his idea for the market. So I was like, cool, I'll help you out with your salsa, and I have this hot sauce recipe that I want to try out. And so when he reached out, and again, with looking at this, because when he offered me this opportunity to like do this with him, my mind just went to like, okay, we need to get the branding. This is like a business. We need to do this. And so again, looking at like the business aspect of having your own market or booth at the market, with his salsa aspect, like he mentioned, the price for a case of tomatoes was insane. It was like $60 for a case of tomatoes at the time. So when you're looking again the kind of boring side of business, looking at like, okay, is this even worth
cost
to? Because cost of production. What are we going to price it at? What are the price of the ingredients to make your salsa? Like, what are we going to sell it for? And also like, will people even buy that? So when discovering that aspect of like his salsa idea, we then realized, okay, we need a pivot. That isn't the best option. So let's kind of focus on this hot sauce recipe and see how people like it. So that's how we then pivoted towards just hot sauce. And that's what became Tu Madres when he offered that.
I love it.
Yeah, it was he asked me over text, and then when we were like in the brainstorming one night, actually at Intracoastal, one night I was meeting up with him after work, and he was just getting off his shift. We're like, what are we gonna call it? We need a name for our booth. I had like this vision. I was like, okay, I see like the artwork and all that stuff. And so that's when one night we have it on our website, like a couple friends laughing over beer. It's on our bottle as well, kind of like our little like origin story. of us sharing a beer, laughing, just kind of like, okay, what are we gonna call it? And at first, I thought we were gonna call it like, it should be like Ricky Salsa, because I don't know, Ricky's like
It's kind of a catchy name.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's like Ricky. What's that Spanish singer from?
Ricky
Martin.
Ricky Martin. But I was like, we can play off your name, and like again, like see, and he was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. And I was like, okay. And so it started off as the name itself started off as a joke in the sense of like, and it sounds very silly, right? We're like, okay, well, what if like someone's like, who made your salsa? And mind you, we're having a couple beers, we're at Intracoastal, just like kind of brainstorming, like dreaming like what this could even be. Because again, I couldn't just do like a simple booth at a market. I was like, we need to make this like business plan. And Ricky's like, okay.
I know. I'm like, I just want to sell like salsa. Like,
but that's why it works. You need the yin and the yang.
Exactly. And so I was like, well, what if someone's like, who made this salsa? And we're like, well, your mom. You know, like your mom joke. And then we're like, oh, Tu Madres. And I'm like, that's kind of catchy.
Sounds
that's
way better
funny.
when you say it.
We're like Tu Madres. And like, again, like, it was kind of like that moment. It's like, it'd be like a little inside joke with us. Because we're like, I remember that moment. Like every time I have to like explain in a sense like where we got that. It's like that moment of like, we didn't know what this would become. It was just a simple joke, but also like the way that we even wrote the name in itself, like there is no apostrophe S in Spanish. You have to like use like la or el to show like possessiveness. So the apostrophe S in the name kind of shows like the Spanglishness of it all. Like again, he's Mexican, but Mexican American. I'm like half Costa Rican, and like it's just like this fun play, like and keeping it fun, you know, like it's not like this it's a sentimental moment behind the name, but the name in itself was just like derived after like a night of just like laughing it out and just like dreaming a bit, you know.
I love that.
Kind of displays our personalities and our humor. In that regard.
I love that. It goes with the artwork. Like I just feel like it's a whole vibe. So even hearing that story, I love that even more. And I think you guys are a great pair. I love hearing just how, and I'm a believer in, you know, the universe brings you who you need at that time, and the fact that you wanted to do a salsa at the same time that you're going to culinary school, and just that perfect timing of you guys being like, you know, it's good. But I'm glad. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a time that maybe you did have a pivot. So it sounds like you guys pivoted right from the beginning of your idea. First started as salsa. So did salsa ever even happen or not?
I did do like a little, because we ended up getting some tomatoes at some point.
Yeah, we were doing like research and development on like what it would even be.
And I was stuck with all these tomatoes, so I lacto fermented them.
Yeah.
And then
used them for something?
Yeah, made salsa out of it.
You're like salsa
Which people really liked, by the way. Like
Which
people
they really liked it.
Well, maybe that's a future product. Once Tu Madres has its name out there, then you can sell, $14 salsas.
I know.
Yeah, we're like, we'll be able to make this affordable for everybody.
But it's crazy because that salsa lasts like a long time.
Well,
like
also
over
the
2
lactose.
months.
That's one of those you don't have to look at the expiration date. Like, you're fine. It'll be good. Just
if it
smell
tastes
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. So from idea to actually saying, okay, we're going to do this. How did you guys start? Like, what did Tu Madres in the beginning start for you? Was it just selling hot sauce to friends? Was it automatically, were you guys like, okay, we're going to try to get in as many stores as possible? Like, what was the very beginning part of production for you guys?
So I think, again, with like Ricky wanted to do this market. So this in January. We wanted to do it for February. So it was like, we had like a month to like kind of like, okay, we have this idea. How do we get it together? So I was working at a restaurant at the time where we used their kitchen as a commissary kitchen. So again, with my experience in food service, I was like, we need to have a food permit. We need to so we had to get that to then make the sauce and like the salsa and the sauce, right? Because we were like experimenting in that kitchen, which the chef I was working at the time was really gracious enough to let us use her kitchen.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
Instead of having to rent out a commissary kitchen.
Yeah.
And so we were experimenting with that. We used that, and then we got the registration for our business because, again, talking with Ricky, I was like, we need to get this name registered. Like, this is it. I like this enough to where I want to make this into like an LLC, an actual business. I want it. So we did registration. We did the research and development and got our food permit to use that commissary kitchen. And
Okay.
then,
Is that all just like county, or did you have to do county and city, like since
so
you're in a
it's
city?
like it's through the FDA.
Okay.
But so we had to like apply through the FDA. They had to come out here and inspect it, and then
so, like, so official.
Yeah, it's very official.
Okay.
And then there's different standards for each county on like how you're able to pass that.
Okay.
So we did that, and then
And how long did that process take, just for?
actually it took a couple weeks.
Did
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
I was to say a couple months. It felt like a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a couple weeks because we had to reach out, we had to apply, then we had to schedule an inspection.
Okay.
And so we did that, and then once we, again, as we're research and developing in the commissary kitchen, which was my job at the time, he was reaching out to Noah to get the artwork done. Noah Cook, who's a local artist.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
and he
he was-
does all of your guys'
Yeah, he's done
anymore,
all of
yeah.
our he's done
artwork
all of
on
our
the
label.
packaging and everything.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the whole reason we got like with him, because he used to be our creative director at Intracoastal. So everything that's revolving around like our product and our brand and stuff is like all EGAD. Like even down to the shirts, the art design. Like we get our shirts made from Tony at Standard
I
Collective.
love that. I'm an O'Galley girl, born and raised, so
Yeah, we
about
want
it.
to
We
keep
love
it so
O'Galley,
like
yeah.
O'Galley, because the community is just like awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
But yeah, so Noah, we had hit him up and was like, hey, can you do like, our branding, like our labeling and stuff, our artwork for it? And he's like, yeah. So he did that.
Well, okay, so as far as the packaging and the artwork and everything, what was that process like for you guys, like deciding what you even wanted your look to be? Because that's important too. You know, especially for you and being in downtown O'Galley and EGAD, and obviously not saying, but like that's obviously where everybody wants to be. It's young, it's hip, it's bars and restaurants and all of that. So I'm sure you wanted it to have that kind of cool vibe too, which it absolutely does. So what was your guys' process in deciding how
look.
you wanted it
The
to
look.
look? Yeah.
I will say, like, when we coming back to that moment where we were like discussing at Intracoastal that night, where we were just like having some beers, cracking up, like, what are we gonna do? What's this gonna even look like? I just had the vision for it. I was like, I want it to, like, I had like Pinterest boards I would look at, and so I like art, so I'll look at art and all that stuff, and I have this like specific type of artwork that I wanted our bottles to incorporate. So I knew I wanted there to be like doodle. I wanted to be like a doodle aspect to our artwork, in the sense of like, obviously not like a child doodle, but like I wanted it to be like actual art. Like you could see like again, like just have it be like different ingredients, like again the peppers and all that stuff, which Ricky's helped with this new label of like each new bottle and recipe that we come up with, it's going to come out with different the vegetables that are in the sauce. So
I
like,
love that. I saw this one. It had like little carrots and peppers
and habaneros, and then the Hotter Than Your Father, our chipotle bacon one, has the onion, has the garlic
in it,
has the peppers that we use it. So there was that aspect of like, I have this vision, and again, coming up with like the color designs, we discussed that too, of like, okay, what colors do we want it to be? We want it to be like, again, we're both Latin. We wanted it to like represent, be bold and colorful and fun. And so working with Noah, that was another thing through this process of like, okay, we're getting our registration done for our company, we're getting our food permit, so we're able to, again, like be like on a legal level to be able to like give this out to people, because again, being in the food service, like there's a lot of people that probably don't do that.
Yeah,
I was just very like,
if you're going to do the effort, you might as well do it the right way.
And I want it to be safe too. If I'm going to be consuming something at a place, I'm also very like,
you don't want to be sued right off the bat.
I'm a very do it by the books gal.
That's the
I'm
way to
like,
be.
and so the thing is,
Trust
like,
me.
I was just like, we need to do this, because I'm not going to feel comfortable. I'm like, there's going to be a food inspector right there, like at the market, gonna like, and they're like, again, thinking the worst of worst, they're going to catch us. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, we need to have this. And so we're getting that process done in this era of like what you're discussing, of like building this up. We're talking with Noah. He's doodling things up for us, getting like certain designs and edits. We're coming back with like comments. But just mind you, he got it right off the bat. We had like we had a meeting with him where like, we want it to look like this and this and this.
Yeah.
So he was able with his, and we like his artwork. I mean, we love like his designs if you've seen it around town. So I knew like
awesome.
his artwork.
I
was
feel like
gonna,
it fell in line with our vision
it was
too,
gonna
because
align
it's like a
with
lot
us.
of bold. He works with like a lot of bold outlines and stuff like that in his art,
So
and that's kind of like what we want.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going back and forth with him, editing, giving him comments on the artwork. And so that was just kind of like, in that era, that was like what we were doing. We're getting our registration, the food permit, getting the labels done with Noah. And we're also, at this time ourselves, we making the sauces and bottling them up
Yeah.
ourselves. Like,
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
ton
a
of
lot.
work. And we're labeling them too. So again, we're getting these bottles. We're price checking, like, where's the best place to get like 5-ounce Uzis.
Yeah.
We're making the sauces. We're then like putting the sauces in squeeze bottles and like bottling them up ourselves. And then
Yeah.
like, you know,
Printing out the labels, cutting
printing out the
them.
labels.
Putting
How are
them
we
on
gonna
individually.
like, yeah, like how are we gonna like, we're cutting them out and putting them on the bottles. Like, it was very like, it was a labor of love, truly.
Yeah.
And Ricky was really helpful with that, with like, he took like, especially for like the Chipotle bacon one that we did last year, he took his like hands on that and like bottled and labeled every bottle, because again, working in the restaurant industry, sometimes my schedule isn't so flexible.
Yeah.
So that's also like another aspect of our business, and like our partnership in this business is like, he's able to help me out in that end of like, you know, like he has the time to also like dedicate a little bit more when it comes to our business,
Yeah.
in the sense of like, he definitely like was bottling and labeling
Yeah.
every bottle for that one.
doing all the manual
Yeah,
labor.
exactly.
Manual
It was a
labor,
labor of love. But
I love
yeah,
that.
and so that's just kind of like how we were starting off. It's just like finding everything of like what even comes. Like, there was a lot of things like we didn't think about that we then again take into account, like the labeling and all that stuff. It was like a lot of different
It's a
aspects
lot,
came
yeah.
into like this one bottle.
Yeah. And you did all of this. This was like a quick learning curve of like just a few months to like go through all of this.
I guess like
yeah.
6 months.
6 months
For
of it.
6 months.
Well, yeah,
It's
we were
kind of
doing
like
so
that.
we were doing this working out of that commissary kitchen. We did that for about 6 months, and then I switched jobs, and so that was another area of pivoting
Yeah.
that we had to adjust to where it was like, okay, we can't use this as a commissary kitchen. Let's look around and see what commissary kitchens go for around here. And the rates that they were charging just
Yeah.
honestly didn't align with us and
Yeah.
like our schedules, because we also even though this is like our business, we also have other jobs. So it's
Yeah.
like, how
Yeah.
do we even have time to dedicate
Based
to
on
this?
what that business's
Yeah.
schedule
Yeah.
is versus ours to do the production
And
that
the
you
price
needed
of it
to do.
too. So like
price.
the commissary kitchen, and then also
I didn't even know commissary kitchens were a thing, but I think they kind of
They-
got big
I know,
during
we didn't
COVID,
know.
right? I remember during
Yeah.
COVID, they
Probably,
kind
yeah.
of like had the, like people were running to go businesses from commissary
Yeah.
kitchens.
For
I remember that
for
being
sure,
like
because
a
COVID
thing.
with the restaurants, you know,
Yeah,
with the
shutting down.
restaurant industry, it really got a big hit because again, people weren't dining in as
Yeah.
much. So a lot of people then pivoted to food trucks, or again like working out of like the commissary kitchens to like do like meal plans,
Yeah.
like, and all that stuff. So that definitely like took its boom. So there's actually local commissary kitchens in Brevard. It's in Vieira.
Yeah.
And so just the price that they were offering didn't align
It
with
didn't.
what.
Well, it didn't even
it
make
needed to
sense
be.
because we would
Yeah.
only need to use it like once a month. If
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at
And-
the time, yeah.
And,
And
it
then
was,
ultimately, you'd have to bring that to the cost of the
yeah.
hot
And then we
sauce.
have our,
Everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
our overhead already on top of that. It's just,
Yeah.
it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when we were like looking for like, okay, how are we gonna do this, and how are we going to continue this? Because
Yeah.
in this time of pivot, a lot of people were still reaching out to us, being like, "Where's the hot sauce? Like, we
Yeah,
want
you
the
already
hot
had
sauce."
addicts already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we did do we did actually, funny enough. So going back a little bit in this time of like where we're figuring out how we're gonna do this, we want to do that market Ricky wanted to do for Intracoastal, and that market was actually like, I think like what it was like March, right? The
So when you say market, you mean like an event down where you're having a space,
Mm-hmm.
It's like a farmer's market.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
all kinds
Okay.
of different vendors,
Yeah.
different businesses and stuff.
So that market was supposed to be like for March, but they kept rescheduling it because it was raining. So
Yeah.
again, we're doing all this because we wanted to be a part of this farmers market.
Which
Kept
you never
getting-
even got to for
Yeah,
like the
which we
first
never
year.
got to.
It's so
It got
funny.
rescheduled like 3 times.
Because of
So we would
weather,
have
yeah.
little pop-ups at their Intracoastal was very kind, and they've honestly been very supportive
Love
to
that.
us growing and all that stuff. So they were okay with us having little pop-up markets because we're like, we did all this work, we bottled all these bottles,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and
we
so
do
it got
some of that.
rescheduled. So we did those pop-up markets, and then the first official market that we did with our product was the Bacon Bash in June that
Yeah.
Intracoastal
Okay, yeah.
does.
That was the whole reason why we did the Chipotle bacon one to begin with.
for the
because-
bacon bash.
For the bacon bash, because I was like, we gotta show up with another hot sauce. Like,
Yeah.
we need a bacon themed, like, hot sauce. And remember at the time, she was already kind of stressed out with it, and she's like, "No, I think just
Yeah.
leave it as is." I'm like, you know what, like, let me just do it. Like, I'll
Yeah.
do some research, development.
Yeah.
So I did recipes, got some feedback from her, and that's how it kind of started. And then we did that pop-up event, and it went really good.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
where we got people hooked. So when we were
Yeah.
in that process of doing it all ourselves, and the Bacon Bash was our last market that we did with bottling and making everything ourselves. So people were already hooked on like, where's the sauces? We want more hotter than your father's Chipotle bacon hot sauce. We want the carrot habanero. So when we're looking for like a manufacturer or commissary kitchen, people were reaching out to us and we're like, okay, we need to get this going. Go with the momentum, ride the wave.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's good momentum. You guys do a good job, I think, marketing yourself on social media and everything. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So so we've came up with the artwork. We now have 2 hot sauces at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
And we have 2 right now.
Yes.
2,
yes.
yeah, it's
And
the
we have
same
more in the
too.
works coming. So you're-
Definitely, yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
we do.
a big thing with our sauces is being flavor forward.
Yeah.
And then also like keeping it as clean of ingredients that we can. You know, we don't have any xanthan gum.
Xanthan. I think it's xanthan gum.
Xanthan
Pretty
gum.
sure. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying xanthan, and he's like xanthan.
I wouldn't have known
I was
the
like,
difference.
okay, let me make sure. So you don't use any gums in our
Watch, I'm wrong.
sauces. There's no preservatives. I mean, it's preserved through a heat method through the bottling process.
Oh, nice.
So again, like our carrot habanero is
So it's like a
just-
healthy
Yeah,
hot
it's
sauce.
clean. It's clean. You can read
It's
the
clean.
ingredients and you know like what you're actually consuming.
And that's all stemmed off of many different test batches to make sure we got the ratio that we wanted of like ingredients to water and vinegar.
Yeah. So we're very intentional with our sauces.
Yeah,
so we're
'cause we want
definitely
a certain consistency of it.
yeah.
Okay, so talking about recipes and all of that, did you guys seek advice elsewhere, or were you guys just kind of using your own?
Well, we had
taste
our
buds
initial,
to-
it stemmed off our taste buds, but then we would go back to friends and family and get a bunch
Yeah.
of feedback from everybody. It's like, how's it taste? What are you getting this flavor profile from it? What would you change differently? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's kind of where we went with it. But actually, the first batch of the Chipotle bacon had like 10 different ingredients. It was roadkill, and that's just how I am. I'm so extra with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You have way too much stuff in
Yeah,
here."
because
And-
again,
and make it costly.
yeah,
long run.
and so I was like, "Yeah, okay." Oh my God.
and he was
So I
also
dialed it
using
back.
ingredients that, like, if you look at it, like, it was like the original sauce had like pears and apples, and I was like, we don't need to use pears and apples. We have to use pears or apples, because
Yeah.
again, like, I'm then looking at it from the culinary aspect of like flavor profiles. I'm like, that's kind of the same thing. So like cutting
Yeah,
it
there's no
down,
reason for two.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we need
Yeah.
to like be concise with it. And so we were definitely had a lot of guinea pigs. We gave it to like a lot of friends and family. I also was taking it back to work, and I work with a couple of chefs in town, so I also was getting like that aspect
Feedback
of,
from them.
yes,
That's
of like
good.
what should I do, and again just kind of also following like what we like as well, like getting their feedback, but then also because we want to make sure again the consumer likes it, because
Yeah.
we might love it, but like
Yeah.
if people don't gravitate towards it, then it doesn't.
People without
Yeah.
a sophisticated palate is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, but it's
Exactly.
also just like we're not making a sauce for ourselves. We're
Yeah.
making it for the people. So give the people what they want.
Give the people what
Exactly.
they want. Yeah.
And so we had like a bunch of guinea pigs, and so we were very fortunate that a lot of people were able to try and consistently try our sauces, especially when it came to like the manufacturing route, because
Yeah.
we had to pivot with that, because we went from making our sauces in a kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had to then translate and think of it like in manufacturer terms, like okay, like for example, right now our habaneros, they take off the stem of each habanero, because we use fresh habaneros for our sauce. We don't
Okay.
use a paste. And so they take off the stems and all that stuff. But if it came down to apples, they're not going to peel every apple. Like,
Yeah.
you got to think, okay, like, well, maybe we use like diced apples or maybe applesauce to make it better. And like, you know, like you got to think of like manufacturer terms and what's easier for them and
Yeah.
like the big production scheme.
Yeah.
And so,
And then
when
look
it-
at the price on it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and also like translating what we want was, we have a local manufacturer that we're able to work like very personal with. Mm-hmm. He's been very kind, especially with our first sauce. We had a bunch of like test days where like,
Yeah.
we need to get this consistency right. We're trying to have him understand our idea and what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to definitely like just align our recipe making. We had to just change it up a bit for manufacturer terms and grand, like big production terms, and also just seeing what he could do and like what's easier for him to get our sauce to where we want it to be, you know?
Okay, so let's backtrack of bottling it ourselves to now you're going the manufacturer route where someone is taking that process from you guys. So how did you find this person? And then what did that look like? Is he now in charge of cooking everything and actually producing the hot sauce? So what does that look like now for you guys?
I mean, yeah, when we were going through that change of we couldn't work out of that kitchen anymore, kind of took that break for a while, and we were kind of like, all right, we need to go back to the drawing board, and we were looking for
Was
different
this a time where
commissaries.
you broke your arm
Yes,
and all
and that
kinds
was
of
the other
life
thing
events
too.
happened?
Yeah, so I had broke my elbow, so I was out for like 4 months anyway, and there wasn't much I could do. So we kind of took that time to do a little bit more research, go back to the drawing board and see what we can do. The commissaries that we were looking at just didn't make sense, with our budget. So I came across like on Instagram of a manufacturer out of California that does like hot sauces and stuff. So I had that in the back of my head, and I told her about it, and she was like, okay. And we were like, oh, we should like look into it. But then she did some research, and then she found Space Coast Sauces that is local. And
Actually was right out of Eau
Yeah.
Gallie. They
They're
just
right out of
recently
Eau Gallie,
moved, but they were
too.
right out of Eau
Yeah.
Gallie as
I
well.
love
they
that.
just
Yeah.
relocated a few months ago down in
So
Palm
they
Bay.
have their own
growing.
hot sauce company.
So they do, yeah. So they
Okay.
have so the owner himself, his family has their sauce, which is I believe Kim's Gourmet.
Kim's Gourmet, yeah.
That's his family is in the business of like sauce making, and so he came out here and opened his like business for that. But then he also does a lot of other local sauces with that because
Yeah.
they have that space. And so
I love that.
Have you heard of Joy's Garlic?
I have.
Yeah, he does theirs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
one
I
of
love
their
that.
employees that owns the company for Joy's Garlic.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he has
exactly.
a ton of experience doing that.
Yeah.
What a good
A
connection
lot,
to make.
Yeah, which was really nice because again, when we were back at that commissary kitchen, the chef I was working with was very kind and very knowledgeable and like what we had to do to get at least the commissary aspect up and going. Because again, like even though you're making this product and it's food, like you're serving it to the public, so there's a lot of things that you need to have like done, like the food permit, all this stuff. Again, like how you're preserving these bottles, she was very kind in guiding us with that. But then when it came down to the manufacturing route, because we're like, okay, we want this to be shelf stable. We want this to last, again, for a while. Our bottles last 2 years through the heat method that he uses to preserve it. Ryan at Space Coast Sauce was very, like, knowledgeable and, like, okay, this is what you need to do if you want to go down the manufacturing route. So we need to get a nutritional nutritional label for our sauces, whether we were going to do it out of a commissary or not. So he was able to connect us with he's like, I already have food scientists that will like draw up this nutritional
scientists.
Yeah, because we will give him
Who knew that was a job?
literally because when we were in the times of like, again, we just got our food permit before the manufacturing route, and they're like, you need a nutritional label. I was like, where do I even go to get that? I need to go to a food scientist. So Ryan was able
I
had to go
and
find a
stuff,
food scientist. And so Ryan was able to connect us with everything that we need. He has a food scientist that he uses or like a food group that works with the FDA that's able to create like these nutritional panels. We also needed a PAL, which is a process authority letter that is through the FDA that
They
that allows
oversee,
us-
they oversee like the whole process of how they make our hot sauce and stuff, and then that, I
they're
guess,
like, yeah, this
middleman
is
up
okay
to
for the
FDA.
public to consume.
Okay.
Cool, you guys
Yeah.
are doing it right. And then
They sign off on it.
yeah,
So
and
that it could be in stores, I think.
yeah, exactly. Because again, like this is like the public is consuming this. Like you know, this was like started off like a small idea, like as the market, and like okay, this is a local farmers market. It's like people are still consuming this, so you need this to be, again, good across the board. So he was able to connect us with the people that we needed for our sauce to be up on shelves or in like local markets. So those are two things that we needed along with the recipe.
I love that. So it sounds like you got connected and made amazing connections with the right people. Because for anybody, the best thing you can do is who you know and that can help you do the things that you want to do. I know even me, like not something completely different, but even starting in the mortgage business, I had no clue what I was doing, and I definitely looked to other people in my company that were high producers, like what are they doing? Help me. I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is always feeling like you need to know everything all the time, and sometimes you need to go out and get this advice from other people who've already been there, done that.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for finding him and
Yeah.
local. Like, not that
Local.
California wouldn't be bad, but
No, yeah.
it seems like you guys have much more control over the process here.
Oh, no,
Way
for sure.
more,
Because, again,
yeah.
he was very kind. And when we were launching our first sauce, and again, thinking of translating our recipe to a manufacturer's term, and then also having him understand what consistency we want in our sauce, because he's seeing our product for the first time, so we're like, this is what we want it to look like.
Yeah.
He was very kind, and we had definitely like a lot of sessions where we were going back and test batching the sauce, so he could see like, this is what we want, this is what we want, and we're like adjusting ratios. And so it was really nice having that local aspect, because I could not have done it if it was outside.
Yeah,
of
it probably would
Brevard
have
or
taken
the
you
state.
forever.
Yeah,
of
it
taking
would have.
forever,
the back
yeah.
forth
And again,
of
like
it.
tasting it, and like if it's a sauce, so you want to taste it, you want to see the texture. So
Yeah.
so definitely, like, it's definitely, with starting this business, I think we can both agree we've come in contact with a lot of cool people and learned from a lot of local businesses, and it's truly like, it's cool to see like this domino effect happen, like where it's just like we meet more and more people, and then we have like more and more ideas, and then because we're meeting more people, we're able to be like, okay, we could do this with this person, we could do it with that person. It's just kind of like falling into place in some sense, because it's like, again, like, it's like Brevard has such a cool and creative network of small businesses out here that's really inspiring.
Yep.
And especially being in the food scene, so it's really cool to kind of like have those connections and see how we can work something out with them and learn from them too.
I love that.
And to go back to like you saying about getting advice from everybody, like the owners at Intra, I've known them for so long now, like 7 years been there, but I would go there and especially in the beginning, ask a million questions about business and how they got started up, because their story's really cool too.
Yeah. I love
Of,
that.
coming from different jobs and then just kind of throwing all their eggs in one basket and
Having
like,
a
let's do this,
dream
having a
and
dream, and let's
going
go do
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
So
Figure it out as you go. I think that's the
Figure out
first
as
thing,
you
is
go.
just knowing what you want and not being scared to go after it. And I think that's what keeps people is,
Yeah.
well, a lot of people say they want to do something and don't ever take the steps to do it. So the fact that you guys took the steps to even get it started, even when you came across things would probably stop people from, most of the time, if even going forward, you lose steam, on something.
Yeah.
So you got to keep the passion, have the dream, and keep it going, which I love you guys. So at this point in time, are we like a year into the hot sauce?
Yeah,
Is this where we're at in
a year
timeframe?
coming in,
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we had like those couple months where we're just kind of like, we had to take a step back, analyze what we're doing. We're a year in, and it's been really cool to see how it's grown. I mean, again, like, this is something that started off like a little side hustle, that now it's like a consistent business and like an aspect of our
Ready to
life.
quit your jobs.
We're already, we're trying to, again, like,
love
build
it.
it to what like it can be, and just to see like people love our sauces and become like so happy to like hear. I become so happy to hear people be like, oh yeah, we've heard of you, like we know, we heard your sauce, or we have it at local restaurants, so they're like, okay, cool, like I've seen you guys. And so like to see like how like the work is paying off, and like how we're just trying to like build this momentum and ride the momentum, and being a year in, and also becoming like, it's cool that we're becoming like a local name in some aspect, because it's like, again, I'm very inspired by the local businesses here, and like the place that they've made in Brevard. So it's kind of like we're kind of like carving out a little bit like our little piece in
baby's
Brevard.
being recognized. It's an awesome feeling.
That's
so
cool.
It is really cool.
I love that for you guys. So we're a year in. So I think in the timeline, because we're approaching year 2. So this was like February of this year. So tell me what work you did to go from not being anywhere or doing pop-ups at Intercoastal and the markets to being in 10 stores, and like how I want you to even touch on like approaching Urban Prime, to even get into that, because obviously that's like the newest restaurant. I eat there way too much, but I love it there. So just tell me kind of how that momentum is building for you guys, how you guys got started. And
I think we got in a really good position of being like in the fast track, because one of my good friends is he's had different positions over the years, but he was a GM at one point. Now he's like one of the sales reps at the brewery, and so he has a lot of contacts to network with of all these places, because he's got to go check up on all the beers and all these restaurants and stuff. So he helped out a lot with that, and so I was just going to all these places like, hey, Ricky, we got this hot sauce company.
so-and-so.
Like I was referred to by
Yeah.
one of my friends and stuff, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so I would just go and just drop off sample bottles, give a little speech on our product and stuff, and if they're interested, just let me know, kind of check
Yeah.
in. And that's kind of how it built up. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, like we'll try out a case and see how it
So
does.
were most people receptive of you coming in, or were they kind of like, this kid's just dropping off?
A couple of them
we have
were,
some.
yeah, there was a couple like that. But most of them were, no, they were super receptive. And
Good.
our first actual account was the Jungle Organic Beachside. And that one
Okay.
was actually through the owners coming at the brewery. And I was like, hey, like, you know, like side talk real quick. Like, I got a hot sauce company if you're interested in, you know, carrying it. I'll bring some sample bottles. He's like, I'll get a case. He's like, yeah, that's so cool. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll come by next week and drop off a case. And that's how that started. And then, you know, then I was just starting to go out to all these different
Yeah.
restaurants.
It almost seems like once you seal the deal on one, that's the momentum, like the feeling of that, like, okay, I'm pumped. Like, I can go out and get more now.
And again, like another aspect, again, we love O'Galley, and the people we find, like the people that are in O'Galley are very supportive, and again with Intracoastal as well. So people that have had our sauces at the markets previously, before we went down the manufacturing route, it's just word of mouth, right? We already have this buzz going, and so Chris, right? Chris, the coworker he's talking about, that's now like the sales rep, right?
Yeah.
At Intracoastal. He's very supportive. He'll always like repost our stuff and be like, our friends and their hot sauce. Like, he loves our hot sauce. So, correct me if I'm not, but like Jackie at Urban Prime,
Oh, Rachel.
she already heard of us a little bit through Chris.
Through Chris,
Oh,
yeah.
So that's the thing, like this,
Yeah.
that momentum, that word of mouth, that buzz that was already occurring.
Yeah.
And what's been cool to see is has worked in our favor. So she
Yeah.
already heard about
They
us. She
already
already knew.
knew you
She
before you
was
walked
like,
through the
yeah.
door.
She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have a case. Like, yeah, like bring it in. And so again, that's been really nice, and seeing like how it's been paying off. And like, again, people are hearing about us, they're liking us, they're sharing our sauce, and so that's been getting us into a lot of like the different stores around town. It's just like they've heard about us. And Brevard also is like has a small town feel to it a little
Yeah.
bit. So the thing is like,
Yeah, I always joke, especially because I've lived here my whole life, and I feel like I know everybody by some connection. They actually make a joke, like when someone calls the office, like, "Oh, Jen, it's your neighbor's cousin's brother's." Like, it's always like the
Yeah.
joke. But I do feel like it is a very community focused here. And
Yes.
actually, my last interview was with Fitness Society, and they've kind of exploded. And I truly believe it's just the way that you create community and your community coming together that can take you from not being known to being known, that word of mouth, people talking about you because A, they love you guys. I mean, you guys have a great hot sauce, I'm sure, but I'm also sure it has a lot to do with you.
Yeah.
And just the connections that you guys already have, and that people want to support you, that I think always takes it to like the next level. So
Definitely.
kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I always say, and I know everybody says it, but your network is your net worth. Most of the time, how I got into rooms that I knew I could never get in before was the people that I knew that got me there. So, and it definitely can take you pretty far. So.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been really cool again to see like the community coming together, supporting us supporting them. Because again, we have these ideas and that we want to do with like local businesses and all this stuff. So I mean, that's the one aspect of Brevard that I truly love. It's just like the community aspect, and again, giving back to our community. So like, as I mentioned before with you, like we're incorporating into our sales, like 10% of purchases are going towards local shelters. And so that was another cool aspect of giving back to our community, and also start creating events that bring our community together. Like we want to do like hot sauce events with local shelters. Like, I don't know, I could see where it's like adoption day and we'll have like our sauce and other businesses, and just like, again, like if you know the right people and you have an idea, you can make it happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that October is National Adoption Month. So this is probably the
Really?
best time to execute that idea and very quickly.
That's so cool. I mean, hey.
It is.
Yeah.
Listen, if you
cool.
could create a hot sauce in a month and ready to sell it, you can get that
Yes.
event going.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that. And I do feel like anything you can involve your community in, and obviously that helps Pooches is near and dear to my heart too.
Yeah.
And there is so many things that you can do to incorporate that. I know us talking, you had mentioned like making little handkerchiefs, and I'm already thinking about handkerchief designs for your dog.
Little dog bandanas, and like having be like become a Tu Madre, like a dog mom through like the Tu Madre's branding and all that stuff.
I love that. So cute. So
Yeah.
if you need any help getting connected with anyone, you let me know, and we
definitely
can
will.
make that happen for
Yes.
you guys. Okay. That's
awesome.
So at this point in time, so we're now coming on year 2 of Tu Madre. So what do you see for the future. Like what I want, like an immediate future, and then I kind of want like 5 years in the future. And it could be Tu Madres plus what you guys see for yourselves, you know.
Well, we were talking about the next sauce. We've been talking about it. Start some research and development on a mango barbecue sauce. It's a little bit of heat, you know, kind of change it up a little bit.
I'm a sweet and spicy kind of girl. Like that's what I like. So that is up my alley.
Yeah.
So as far as that, in regards to that,
market for that.
But and then I have an idea of like doing from Central California, Fresno area. So I want to do like a homage type of hot sauce down the road.
Like Southern California.
Central for me.
Central.
You're southern for her.
Southern, yeah.
But
Yeah, I
I want to
grew up
work
everywhere,
like with some Fresno chili peppers. So we'll see.
But
Later on down the road.
an immediate goal, at least like something that we're incorporating soon into our business. So we just launched our website, which again, 321tumadres.com. If you want to check it out,
visit it today.
Go visit it. You can get sauces on there and our merch. So building that up, because again, we love doing the local markets, but also just kind of like getting onto TikTok, getting onto Instagram, using social media as a tool for our business. Getting sales through online orders. That's an immediate thing that we want to start working on and incorporating into our business.
It's a full-time job, let me tell you.
I know.
Just even coming up with the ideas.
It is. And luckily, I'm very blessed. My brother, who's a Muay Thai coach, he has his own social media platform on Instagram. He has like 10,000 followers. So
Amazing.
I'm like, tell me what to
Please
do.
post us.
Please, yeah. I'm like, you're my social media manager for free. You'll get hot sauce. And so
You'll be paid in hot sauce.
exactly. So he's going to be helping us getting that incorporated. So that's like an immediate thing. Goal that we want to start incorporating, getting into more like businesses. I mean, like again, local restaurants and all that stuff, so people can become more familiarized with our sauce, and then maybe use that as a funnel. Like, hey, you like our sauce at this restaurant? Well, you can buy it online or catch us at a local market. But long term,
then you can just push those ads on social media like they do. I really stopped on these like mushroom gummy things. I'm like, do I need these? So I'm getting off my coffee addiction, and now I'm tired all the time.
Masha.
And then I swear, every 2 seconds I get some type of mushroom gummy in front of my face,
Oh,
and I'm like,
really?
I'm not going to buy you.
they're listening. They're listening.
They are.
But a long term thing that I would really like to see is. Again, like I'm an aspiring chef, and also like I want to have my own restaurant one day in Brevard. So this was like a really neat thing for me to like have like this business and be like, okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty of like running and building something from the ground up. And so maybe like eventually one day like incorporating Tu Madres into a restaurant, and or maybe having like a Tu Madres restaurant. I mean, again, it's just like incorporating that into having like a brick and mortar in town would be really nice, along with like the long-term goals. And then vision. Again, just like having it be a local name, but also just like, again, like around the US. It could be like being in stores like Publix.
That'd be a cool
I
goal.
like that thinking.
Yeah.
Sprouts.
Sprouts, and like building up from there, but then also like keep having our local roots, and like one day having a restaurant myself, and like having Tu Madres at that restaurant, or again just incorporating that and having our place in Brevard and keeping it local. But again, having that wide expansion of like being in storefronts like Publix and all that stuff.
I love that. I love that vision. If there's one thing I can tell, like you guys will make it happen. I think your partnership is awesome. Like I definitely can see the
Thank you.
Yeah, the yin and
Ricky's
yang.
definitely he's definitely the yin to my yang, because again, like I can be very, again, when it comes to business, like again, like you were talking about, like over analyzing and just kind of like having to do it.
Yeah,
I do have to like remind myself like messy action is better than no action.
I love that.
I have to remind myself that sometimes, and I will, like as a business, I mean, we're human, and as a business owner, you can just overthink stuff, again, when it comes to like investment, prices, costs, all that stuff. And Ricky definitely reminds me to like keep it fun and keep it like, it doesn't have to be that serious. Like, so like I could be very like wound up, and he's just like, we're fine. Like it's literally like, it's not that big of a deal. He's the calm to my storm.
It's hot sauce.
He's the calm to my storm. And then when I need to have the storm, and I'm like, Ricky, we got to get this going, then I'm that to him, I think.
Yeah. To light a fire Fire under my butt.
Yeah, I'm the fire and he's the water that gets thrown on if I need it.
I
so,
love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
I am super excited to see where Tu Madres goes. I know it's going to be amazing no matter what you do.
Thank
So
you.
they can go visit you at 321tumadres.com.
Yes.
You can order hot sauce there. You can find their hot sauce in Urban Prime, Intracoastal.
Pineapple.
Well,
Pineapple.
not
Jungle.
Intracoastal yet, but
Oh, yeah.
Jungle, FM Pizza, Pineapple, Urban Prime. We're also
Forgotten Block.
Forgotten Block.
Taco Dive.
In downtown Melbourne. You can see the whole list of where
Melbourne
to find
Beach
us on our
Market.
website.
I love it. So basically, you can find Tu Madres pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
over
exactly.
Brevard.
I love it so much. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you the
Thank
best of
you.
luck.
Thank
and
you for
I'm
having us.
super excited for you guys.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
very
for having
proud.
us.
Oh, and a fun fact, I just want to let you know it's a full circle moment for me. I actually helped Ricky buy his home. So
did.
it's super awesome. We've
Yeah.
just stayed in contact this entire time. And
Yeah.
Ricky is also an amazing filmmaker. I just want to give you a
Oh,
shout
thank
out
you.
because you have an indie film
Appreciate-
that's getting ready to come out now too.
Yeah,
Or
we're
already
gonna
done?
launch. No, I haven't even started it. I'm gonna launch a
haven't even
Indiegogo
started.
campaign
Okay.
next week to try and fund it for.
Right. Indiegogo
for-
campaign for Ricky's future
Yes,
film.
be on the lookout
Yes.
for that. Should be launching next week. But yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.